Let me tell you about the summer. I almost lost everything. I'd ever worked for my sanity, my parents' life savings, and the only place I've ever felt truly at home, all because of a neighbor named Carol, who thought her HOA badge made her queen of Mirror Lake. You ever meet someone who can smile at you while they're stabbing you in the back? That's Carol. And if you've never seen a whole neighborhood watch a woman have a meltdown on her own front lawn, well, buckle up because this gets wild. I'm not the kind of guy who stirs the pot. I grew up believing if you work hard, pay your dues, treat folks right, then life will at least leave you alone. So when I finally scraped together enough $130,000 every penny my parents ever put away working factories and classrooms for 40 years to buy this little slice of lakefront heaven, I thought I'd made it. 3/4 of an acre mirror lake reflecting the clouds like glass, a fixer-upper with good bones. I put in the sweat months sanding shutters, painting trim, coaxing the grass to a perfect buzz cut, the kind you measure with a ruler, and your dad's approval ringing in your ears. For a while, things were good. The $150 a month HOA fee. Annoying but fine. Most folks were decent, especially Arthur, the old school teacher next door, who always seemed to keep one eye on Carol's place. And then there was Carol herself, HOA president, 20 years running, greeting me with this Stepford smile and all these lines about protecting property values and how things work around here. You know that feeling when someone's being friendly, but you can taste the threat underneath. That was our first handshake. Things went south one Sunday when 3 cars rolled up on my lawn, deep tire tracks in the grass I'd been nursing like a newborn. Out piled her party guests' chairs, coolers, kids, the whole circus streaming through my yard like it was public property. I stood there just stunned. Couldn't even find my voice at first, just staring at the ruts. I figured be the grown-up. So I walked over to Carol's, knocked on the door, and as soon as she saw me, she launched into this Oscar-worthy apology, hand on her heart. "Oh, Liam, honey, I am so sorry. Family just gets excited, you know how it is. I'll absolutely remind everyone, sweetie." Pat, pat, shoulder squeeze. But the way she said your own home, you'd think she was letting me borrow it, not the other way around. I tried to believe her, but that night as the party went on past midnight and the laughter drifted through my window, it felt wrong. Her apology was too slick. By morning, I'd had enough. I put up security cameras. Not because I was paranoid, just because every instinct from city living said something was off. Sure enough, the first night the cameras caught Carol walking her little white dog, pausing at my drive and tossing a bag of party trash right onto the center of my lawn, dead in the spotlight, no shame at all. Watched it 3 times, couldn't decide if I was more furious or just bewildered at the nerve. That was just the opening shot. 2 days later, a violation notice lands in my mailbox, official HOA letterhead signature Carol. My crime putting my trash out at 5:58 a.m. instead of 6 Huzru. Fine, $25. I checked the footage. Yep, 2 minutes early. Petty, but I paid it set 3 alarms just to be safe. But Carol wasn't done. Next week, another violation, unauthorized vegetation. 3 purple wildflowers, not weeds, just growing in my flower bed. Fine, $50. The third violation, my car parked 3 inches too far to one side. Fine, $75. That's when I started the chart on my kitchen wall tracking Carol's campaign. Mailbox flag, porch light, timing a garden hose visible from the street wreath too wide, you name it. Each fine bigger, each accusation more absurd. I couldn't sleep just waiting for the next hammer to fall. But if Carol wanted a war by the book, I was ready to read every page. I downloaded all 47 pages of HOA covenants, highlighted every rule with wiggle room mapped out counterattacks. That's when I found Section 8.7, no vegetation allowed to damage community fences or infrastructure. So I grabbed my camera, and sure enough, peeking over into Carol's backyard, there's a monster grapevine eating the shared fence, warping posts, ripping boards apart, years of neglect. I took 50 pictures. Minimum fine $500. Oh, I was sitting on dynamite. But I waited. July 4th comes her big annual bash. I wake up to 12 cars across my lawn, strangers using my hose for water balloons, kids stomping my flower beds, beer coolers parked by my mailbox. Carol's holding court on her porch like she owns the block. That's when I called Premier Towing. 20 minutes later, the first tow truck backs in, and the circus erupts. Carol, in her star-spangled apron, screaming at the driver guests, forming a human wall. Carol's dialing 911, shouting that I'm harassing innocent families. Cops show up. Officer Miller walks the boundaries, sees my survey stakes, agrees it's my land. But get this, he says, unless my property is clearly marked, it's a gray area, and I should try talking it out instead of legal escalation. The tow truck leaves empty-handed. I'm out $400 in fines, and my savings, my parents' whole legacy, are down to $5,000. I almost gave up. Sat there drafting a for sale by owner ad, heart pounding, sure I was beaten. Then Arthur knocks on the back door with this old cardboard box, documents, survey maps, legal rulings, the works. Turns out Carol's family had tried this land grab in the 80s, lost in court to the previous owner. My driveway, my yard, it's all on record as private property. Arthur grins and says, "Son, you're holding the winning card." For the first time, I believed him. Next day, I march into City Hall, slap down Arthur's treasure trove. The clerk, Janet, checks every seal legit. She fast-tracks my permit for a 4-foot brick wall on the property line. I hire Morrison Construction, who rolls in at 7 a.m. sharp, unloading vintage red bricks and making noise loud enough for Carol to choke on her coffee. Carol storms over with her clipboard, demands to see my permit. Morrison shows her cool as ice. She's beat, and everyone can see it. By Friday, the wall is up, beautiful, sturdy, legal. Neighbors gather impressed. Carol calls the cops again, drags 20 people to witness her victory, but Officer Miller reviews every document and tells her, "Ma'am, he's in the right. Please leave." The crowd melts away. Carol is crimson, shrinking under the weight of her own authority. You think it ends there? 2 days later, I get a thick certified letter. Carol's suing me for $75,000, demanding I tear down the wall, pay her legal fees, the works. She spins a story about emotional distress, community, disharmony, makes me out to be some kind of monster. My inheritance is nearly gone. Lawyers want $20,000 up front. And Carol calls a special HOA meeting to whip the neighbors into a frenzy, antisocial newcomer children scared to play outside the whole speech. She asked for $180 from every household to fund her crusade. That's when I roll up with my laptop plug into the projector and show the room two things: photos of Carol's monstrous grapevine trashing the HOA's own rules, and simple math: her fundraiser is padding her own pockets, not protecting anyone's property. Arthur stands up and back and says, her daddy tried the same scam in '84. He lost then, and she'll lose now. When it's time to vote, the room turns. Only 6 support Carol. The rest tell her to pound sand. Now it gets ugly. Carol's attorney sends a discovery demand, wants every receipt, every scrap of paper since I moved in. She has folks driving by, taking photos, measuring my wall, basically turning the neighborhood into a spy movie. But the twist comes from left field. I hire an engineer, David Martinez, to check my foundation just to make sure the wall didn't cause problems. David finds not only serious water damage, but evidence that someone deliberately rerouted Carol's drainage years ago, sending gallons of runoff right into my house, rotting the foundation. He finds pipes from her property buried under her patio, violating city codes, causing $45,000 in damage. With David's damning report in hand, I meet with my attorney, James. He lights up. This isn't just a counterattack, it's a full reversal. James drafts a letter. Carol pays $67,000, drops her lawsuit, resigns from the HOA, and admits her violations, or we go to court for everything, including criminal charges. News spreads fast. Neighbors start grilling Carol. Contractors show up all over the block checking for sabotage. Friday, a crowd forms outside Carol's house demanding answers. She locks her doors, won't come out. By Tuesday, her lawyer calls Carol folds, pays in full signs. Everything steps down. She looks 10 years older, her reputation in ruins, but she can't say a word because of the confidentiality clause. I deposit the check, hire the best masons to fix my foundation, and that evening I mount a bronze plaque on the wall. This wall protects peace built with justice. Sometimes you have to fight for your home, for your dignity, and for the memory of the people who worked their whole lives to give you a shot. Sometimes karma needs a little nudge from a structural engineer and a brick wall you can lean on. So what's the wildest revenge story you've ever seen? Drop it in the comments, because after all this, I'm ready to believe just about anything. Still here, you're one of us now.